Got a really cool video today, man. Today we are talking about the rules of the game. We are walking through certain rules that maybe you've seen get called both ways, or there's just like some general confusion about what the actual rule book says. So today we're walking through those plays, clearing up that confusion, helping players, coaches, trainers, parents, really the whole basketball community just have a good experience and ultimately grow the game of basketball. Today we are in Wool Recreation Center in St. Louis. A lot of legends have walked through these doors. Speaking of legends, to the left of me, Jerron Dent. Jerron, I appreciate you being here.
Hey, no problem, man. Happy to be here, my brother.
So give me a quick rundown of, first of all, like how your journey of how you got to where you're at reffing, but then also any kind of personal stuff that you want to include, because I do think it's important for people to kind of understand refs are people too type thing, so anything you want to include.
No doubt. So my referee journey started, I was on my way to a basketball game at Illinois State University watching one of my former students play. His name was Roosevelt Jones, ended up playing 4 years at Butler, D-League, coaches basketball around, not right now, Division I at Evansville, Indiana. And I was going to his game, didn't like the way the game was being officiated. So I just decided to become an official because I didn't like the way it was officiated. Started the journey when I was 25 years old. I was in grad school when I started the journey. I'm glad I didn't start any earlier because I probably wouldn't went to grad school. I fell in love with officiating that much. So I've now been doing it, this is my 14th season, and I do it every night, and it's a great avocation.
So that must have been a pretty bad refereed game if that's what like made you start this whole career.
It definitely motivated me, and I'm happy to be here now.
Sweet. Yeah. All right, so let's get to it, man. So you just got done showing me the laptop of what a travel is, and it was 3-4 pages long.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to break it down just a little bit. So let's start off just real basic.
Yeah.
And then kind of work our way up. So let's say I'm dribbling, let's just say it's a fast break just to keep things simple. So I'm attacking to the rim. When do my two steps begin? Is it when I bring two hands on the ball, or what is it?
Basically, when you gather your upward motion toward the basket, that's when it begins.
When the ball goes up or the body goes up?
Once you gather the ball in your upward motion toward the basket.
And what's
so you stop your dribble, you gather the ball, and you're the upward offensive motion toward the basket in a technical sense.
You said in a technical sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then stopping the dribble, if I don't bring this hand on the ball, like some players will scoop it here, so then that kind of becomes arbitrary.
Yes.
When I stop my dribble, right?
It's a very fine line, as I showed you in the spreadsheet. It's a very fine line about what constitutes a travel and what doesn't constitute a travel, based upon the offensive motion and the defenses as well. It's a variation of dependent. It's a lot of factors that go with it. We think it's black and white. It's not, as I showed you, it's not black and white at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too that we were talking about is, which I think that America kind of does a disservice to players, because if you go in like Europe or somewhere, other countries, the rules are the same, pro, semi-pro, middle school, high school. Here it's kind of different, because I know like in the NBA, they have like the gather step.
Yeah.
But then in like high school, you don't really have that. The rules are kind of more concrete-ish.
Yeah, it depends. So if you want to talk about the NBA side, the NBA, you get the additional step because it's going in the offensive motion. The NBA is a business. They're in the business to entertain. So if you get someone that is a superstar in their offensive motion toward the basket, they may give the LeBron Jameses, the Kobe Bryants, the Steph Currys, and the superstars the extra step in order to make their offensive advancement toward the basket. But again, it's also part of the rules. The rules are the rules, but then there's the fine line between being able to adjudicate black and white, what's on paper and what's not on paper.
Okay. So that's definitely probably a theme that we'll kind of circle back on during this conversation, is there is that human element to it.
Most definitely.
There's like what the rule book says, but then the refs are humans.
We are humans. We do make mistakes, and I will be the first to admit we make mistakes. We miss it. And I'll tell coaches that we miss it. I'll tell players, hey, we missed it. Again, it happens. It's a part of it.
Okay. Okay, so we've got My 2 steps kind of starts when I stop my dribble.
Uh-huh.
And so the dribble that I take could change. So like if I'm on a fast break, would I be allowed to kind of throw it out and then like that?
It all depends. If you cup like this, but compared to a push, because if you cup, that can be considered a carry.
Okay.
Or the holding of the ball, okay? But if you push ahead to advance, that is legal. But if you literally cup it here, then turn it back over, I would deem that as illegal.
Okay. So then if I push it, footwork-wise, it's fair game.
Yes.
I can push it out if I wanted to?
Yes.
Okay.
You've not done any, it looks funky, but you've not done anything wrong based upon
Because
the
I
rules.
don't have possession of the ball?
No, but again, it's a legal move. There's nothing that says that you cannot not advance the ball. You advance the ball legally, so therefore you do not do anything illegal to stop the advancement of the ball or to gain an advantage. It's all about gaining an advantage, disadvantage to gain an advantage.
Okay.
Advantage, disadvantage.
I've heard that language a lot. Mm-hmm. If the player can create an advantage with it,
Yes.
it would probably be illegal in
Yes.
some situations. Okay. Okay, so now, so we've got my 2 steps that I can take after I stop my dribble.
Gather the ball. Yeah.
After I gather the ball, I have 2 steps. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do the direction of those steps matter? We kind of touched on it when you had the laptop out of like, there was one year in Missouri high school that they were trying to make the Euro step illegal, or it was like a point of emphasis. Mm-hmm. So when I pick my dribble up, does the direction of these 2 steps matter?
No, the direction does not matter. You're still allowed your certain amount of allotted steps based upon the definition.
Okay. What if we're gonna just explore like the end of the spectrum, just to, for argument's sake, we'll kind of explore the end of the spectrum. So I have 2 steps, I can take them in whatever direction I want.
Yes.
What if it's like a spin move, but I went 1, 2. Probably not gonna do that in a game, but just for like argument's sake, would that be legal?
Not common, but legal.
Not common at all.
Not common, but legal. It may throw some people for a loop. It may throw some officials that not have seen something athletic like that, but again, completely fine.
So then that's something that we'll touch on in a minute here, because we're about to get in the bag a little bit into like the funky stuff.
Yeah.
So is that something that players need to keep in mind, is like, it may, by the book, it may not be a travel, but it just looks funky.
Yeah.
And so the ref might call it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the times, refs may be influenced by the roar of the crowd, the roar of the coach, or just by the atmosphere or something. Everybody's screaming, that's a travel, that's a travel. Well, then you ask them, what is a travel? And I guarantee they can tell you the stuff that I showed you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
By rule, what is a travel? Tell me. And they give you their definition, but they're only giving you what they think they know. We're trained officials. We don't know everything, but most of us know enough in order to adjudicate fairly on the playing field.
Okay. So again, we're circling back to that human element of it.
Yeah.
That it's like a judgment call and a judgment call like that. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're not going to penalize, do not penalize a player, or do not penalize players for being athletic. Why penalize them? You don't want to restrict anyone. Don't put them in a box. If they're athletic enough to make a legal move, let them go.
Okay, so now we've talked about the direction of the steps. Mm-hmm. Don't matter. Does the amount of time that my steps are on the ground matter?
No.
Can I go?
No, doesn't matter. Is it uncommon? Does it look funky? Yes, it looks funky. Is it uncommon? Yes, it's uncommon, but completely legal.
So then same thing with the height of it. I could go 1, 2, up.
Again, nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Do not penalize the student athlete for being athletic. Do not put them in the box.
And so that goes back to what we were just talking about. It looks funky, may get called to travel. Would it be, so for players out there, like, would that be something that would be to their benefit to, like, go up to the refs before the game or something and say, hey, like, I like going to this move. It's been called to travel a couple times. Like, can we just break it down so that we're on the same page?
Communication is always good before the game. A lot of kids that will try things that they see, maybe the James Harden step back or anything like that, they will ask. Or like the Euro step, they will ask, and you, based upon who's working, based upon the crew, they may say yes or no. That's legal, that's not illegal. Or, you know, is it a point of emphasis that year? Is it not a point of emphasis this year? Personally, if you get me as an official, I'm going to let you be as athletic as you possibly can be within reason, as long as it's legal, okay?
What would be something that would be athletic without reason?
Something
that's not within reason.
So a lot of our kids, they aspire to be NBA players one day, correct? Most of our kids. So NFHS, we're giving 2 steps. NBA, you're giving 3 steps. So WNBA, you're giving a gather step, then 2 additional steps, which is only considered 2, but you get a gather. So which is essentially 3. So if you look further, again, the rules, people say it's a travel NBA with 3, but sometimes, you know, you see the shuffle and all that stuff. It just depends on the magnitude of the game, the people that are trying to score, when to score, and what's on the line. People are not coming to see us call travels in a high-level, high-caliber game of 1 versus 2, 5-star kid versus another 5-star kid. You're not coming to see me blow a travel every time out of court because these kids are being athletic. Let these kids run, let them be athletic, and let's keep the flow of the game going. Did he or she gain an advantage with that move? No. Yes or no?
I mean, you could say I will have gained an advantage. I mean, I guess we should break that down, gaining an advantage, because, I mean, I would think that as I'm driving, I mean, like, I gain an advantage, right? Because it's unorthodox, so then the defender jumps at that because they've never seen that before. And so technically it's legal, but, like, is that me gaining an advantage?
Going back to what you said, because the defenses have not seen that, but you're going to penalize the offensive player for, as the kids would say, going into their bag and being super athletic. I'm not going to penalize that. Again, some kids are higher skilled and higher fundamentally sound compared to the next kid. They've studied more, they watched more film, and they train more, and they've worked on that move. So if it's a part of their, is a part of their bag of tricks, let them play. Like the Kyries, the Allen Iversons, the people that really truly handle the ball or can really get to the rim, like the Russell Westbrooks, let them go. You know. And
so is that? So it sounds like that is your personal philosophy and also what the rule book says.
I'm not going to say my own personal philosophy. We have what's on black and white paper. We have the rules. But then you go to camps where you're trained. And then you have people that are in charge of you as officials. The way certain leagues are refereed, certain levels are refereed, certain games are refereed. So it's a lot that goes into it. It's just not the book, the manual that you receive, or the manual that you can look up PDF online. You can read it black and white, but then you have to have some grace within that confine of the rules.
Okay. So it does sound like it'd be very beneficial for a player to go talk to a ref before the game, just so they're all on the same page?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And work as much ball as you can in the off season to see what's up and coming. You want to stay in the know, and you want to know what's going on.
Okay. So I should have looked it up before we started filming because I brought it up when we were on the laptop. There's somebody in the G League. Do you know his name, Sean? That, like, no? Okay. So there's someone in the G League, I forget his name, but he'll get players, he'll get defenders by going downhill and then 1, 2, and just hang out here for a minute and then go here. So technically, is that the same thing that we've been talking about? Technically, it's legal, but
Completely legal. He knows leverage. Again, that's a leverage. If you are assuming, it's kind of like guys in the post. Let's go from the travel to the post. If a guy's banging you in the post, I tell my guys and I teach my defenders as an official, don't bang back with them. Give leverage. Pull back, they're gonna fall every time. Why go mano a mano, macho macho, man to man, strength to strength? Just pull the chair and they'll fall every time. Because they're relying on you to be there to bang with. Why? There's an advantage. If you're smart enough as a defender to fall for that, or smart enough as a defender to make the adjustment, depends on you as a defender. Again, we're not going to penalize the offense. We're coming to see points. If you're not seeing the trend of points, the point increase at the NCAA level, at the NBA level, or even at the high school level, because they want scoring. Scoring, people are attracted and addicted to the numbers. Everybody want to get buckets, want to get buckets, want to get buckets, want to get buckets. The assists go up, the triples, doubles go up, all that, the quadruple doubles, all that stuff go up. Because again, it's an offensive-minded game.
the verticality stuff, that became like a big thing in college, but it definitely still gets called in high school, 100%. So like, dude's driving and then I go up, and then a lot of times the foul will get called because the hands go down. Is that what it is?
You're asking my personal opinion?
And also the rules.
The rules is, if you stay vertical, if a defender stays vertical and he's at his or her spot prior to the offensive player taking movement or flight toward the basket in legal guarding position, he is entitled to his spot, he or she is entitled to their spot. And it should be a no call. Now, if I make contact with your torso, your hands will automatically go to go here. That is a natural repercussion of getting hit in the torso or the gut. So when you're not seeing that type of play, you may be accustomed to calling it or putting a whistle on it because it looks like something happened when it really did not. But if I go at you full speed and I bump you and you come here, what did you do wrong? Did you make illegal contact? Or was it just a reaction based upon the contact you received as a defender?
So if my arms come down, but I don't make contact, in theory, that would be clean.
No, it would be absolutely fine.
It would be a foul?
No, it would not be a foul.
Got you.
It would not be a foul.
Okay.
What did the defense do wrong? Just because your arm comes down, there was no illegal contact, there was no incidental contact, you did nothing wrong. Your hands simply came down. There's nothing wrong with that.
Because I feel like I see that get called a lot. Is they go up and then they get the foul call because they say the arms are going down.
You have to make contact. By definition, a foul is illegal contact. By simple black and white definition, illegal contact. Was there contact? There was no illegal contact. My arm's coming down. I didn't make any contact just because my arms come down.
Okay.
But understand this, everyone's trained differently. Everyone interprets differently.
Interprets the rule book differently.
Yes.
Okay.
They do.
Okay. So when you say when the offense starts their movement towards the hoop or in flight towards the hoop, I have to stay in my spot?
You have to be in legal guarding position.
Which would be what?
You want the definition.
Let's break it down, baby.
Okay.
That's why we're here, dog. Let's break it down.
To be in a vertical position and to maintain your verticality, you have to be facing the offender, the offensive player, okay? You want to be able to jump from point A, straight up, straight down. That is your vertical cylinder, okay? Straight up, straight down, vertically. You do not want to jump into, you do not want to jump into, you do not want to jump into. You want to go straight up, straight down, point A to point B. You do not want to go forward. You want to be set, waiting to receive the offense driving to the basket or shooting or in an attempt to score.
And you have to be facing them. So if the ball's driving from the wing here, I can't be here.
You cannot be there.
I have to be facing.
That is not legal guarding position. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then
by definition, legal guarding position is not to the side.
It's facing the
Yeah.
offense. Okay. And then, so you mentioned point A to point B.
Yes.
So I guess then that's a judgment call, because I mean, you can watch their feet and see where they jump from and then where they land. And then you could make that call and say, hey, he moved, so therefore it's a foul. Is that mainly what they're looking at, is the feet?
Yes and no. You said he moved. You're allowed to move laterally and obliquely by rule.
When you jump. Before you jump.
Before you jump, yes, you're allowed to move laterally and obliquely.
So he's driving middle. I can slide over and then jump.
And maintain your vertical guarding position. Yes, sir.
And then what if that same scenario happens? I slide, jump, and then land over here.
Did you make illegal contact with him? Did you make illegal contact with the airborne shooter? Then we get into that.
Okay.
If you did not make illegal contact with an airborne shooter, you're still okay.
Okay.
Because you can turn. Once you receive contact, you're allowed to turn by rule to protect yourself.
Defense is allowed to turn.
Yes, defense is allowed to turn to protect him or herself.
So if you're coming up and then I jump point A to point B.
And you take it, yeah.
And then you bump me and then
yes,
I turn, that's allowed?
That is allowed.
What if you bump me, I turn, and then just the nature of the game is kind of chaotic, we bump again? Would that be a foul on me because I'm not in legal guarding position?
No. Because you turned, the reason you turned was based upon the contact made by the offensive player, which did not legally displace you. Because if he legally displaced you, we're going to go, yes, control foul.
Okay.
Yes, you open up a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to get to the off-arm swipe stuff. Okay, so he's driving, bang, point A to point B. He bumps me, and then maybe he like bumps this half of me or something. So then I kind of turn a little bit as we're up in the air, and then maybe he like bumps me again for whatever reason, yeah. And I'm like this, and he bumps me. Technically, I would not be in legal guarding position.
Yes, you are, because you started in legal guarding position. Again, the offensive created contact, the offensive initiated contact, offensive initiated contact. Coach, he remained in vertical, right here. That's game right there. That's me in the game right there. Hey, coach, he remained vertical. Hey, Jerron, that was illegal. No, coach, he remained vertical. And you see it all the time on TV. He remained vertical. It's a mechanic virus. Use your voice, use your body, and you run it down the court. And then you'll watch film, and then you'll agree to disagree.
And then initiating contact is probably another can of worms.
Yeah.
Initiating contact is more so a judgment call. Like because I know in the NBA, they had to like get it under control. Because one year, like fouls were just through the roof, because they would be driving, and then like they just get bumped and then flail, and then they call that a foul on the defense.
Okay, so now you talk about you want to go bumping or you want to go contact. Because if you go bumping and you go contact, they want to increase the freedom of movement. The freedom of movement allows you a greater opportunity in order to score the basketball. A great opportunity to score the basketball keeps the flow of the game going. The flow of the game going allows for the points to increase, which keeps the flow going. So again.
So what's the difference between bumping and what, I forget the other term you used.
Freedom of movement?
No.
You talking about illegal contact?
Yeah, I think it was bumping versus contact.
Yes, bumping versus contact. So you have to deem, was the bump incidental? Did the bump reroute his or her direction? Did the bump throw him or her off their freedom of movement toward the basket? That all comes into play. So do you blow on contact because they were rerouted? Because you go bump. Here, that is the mechanic for a bump. Like, he got bumped. Again, if I take you from the block and put you to the circle, that is illegal contact. But if I give you and you still are able to gather and get into an offensive rhythm, we may let it go because it's incidental contact. But if they take you from point A to point B and throw you off your direction in which you attend, we all tend to get to the hoop, correct?
Yep.
But if they throw you off of that, then you blow your whistle, call a foul.
Okay, so let's so like ideally I beat you in a straight line here. Just the nature of the game, a lot of times we take these like curved angles, which is something we train. But so like let's say I'm breaking you down, whatever, just the nature of the game, instead of like clipping your hip here, I go kind of wide out here. So now there's this space and then we're attacking downhill. From here, would that be your judgment on who initiates contact?
Yes, you see ball, see man, see ball, see man. We're trained as officials, referee the defense, referee the defense, referee the defense. That's the way we're trained. You referee the defense first, then you go to the offense. All right? See man, see ball, see man. See man, see ball, see man. You want to be able to see through. So the way that we're trained, the best angle is a 45-degree angle. You want to be able to see through. Because if you can see through, you can see daylight, you can referee the defense, you can referee the offense, and you can see the status of the ball.
A 45-degree angle.
So, yes, so you have your baseline official.
Yep. Oh, this is fire. Okay,
So which is your lead.
Bet.
So if I was lead, I would be set up, as you're driving, I'm set up right here, okay? And I want to keep a wide angle because you're driving. I don't want to be down here because it becomes a cluster. I don't want to be wide as you're driving in order to see through. And
see past me.
See through you. I want to see my defender, and I want to see my offense, and your ball is on the outside hand, which is your left hand. And I can see if you give them a little one of these, because some people might not see that on film, but I can see that as an official. And then I might come out here, boop, 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 we're going the other way. Number 3, offense going this way, and I'll show what he did, and the coach will go back on film, like, oh, he was right. But he's MFing me the whole way down the court because he didn't see it, because you coming in there tight, you know what I'm saying?
So that 45-degree angle gives you a better view of the court.
Gives me a wide view.
So is there anything, this will be good for players, like is there anything that you're sacrificing by being there? Is there anything that you're missing out on seeing if instead you were like on the baseline? So
here, if we have someone in the corner, we have a matchup in the corner, I can't see my matchup in the corner. My peripheral has to be amazing. But if I'm here, I can see my opposite block, I can see my block, and I can see my perimeter offensive and defender. So I can see 3 matchups, 66 players. If I'm here, I can see 4, which is tough. But I'm leaving somebody out, it could be a fight out here, and I not know because I'm closed down too far. You want to be wide.
So that could be kind of the game within the game for players. If a player's on some next level stuff and is in the corner and sees the ref here, they could think, okay, he may not be able to see me. I could get away with whatever it is, maybe some off-arm stuff to create an advantage to get here, because they wouldn't be able to see
and then too, it's my job as this official, as the trail lead center official, to mark this shot. So if I'm too tight, I gotta run back out here and see was he behind the line, in order to, that 3 can make a difference if it's a 1-point game. That 3 can make a difference if you 1 point away from breaking the school record for 3-point attempts and 3 points made. I mean, it's a lot that goes into it. That could cost. It could cost if we're going into overtime. I just cost us a game because I missed it. That's why now we have so much video review. We can go to the video to see if it was a 3-point attempt, was it a 3-point make in the last 2 minutes, in the last 5 minutes, in the last quarter. Now they're making it, we can go to the monitor just about for anything, because again, the game is getting faster and more athletic, and everybody can't see everything at every time.
And so so some games will have 3-man crews, 3-man refs, some games will have 2.
Yes.
Just depends on level, league.
And some games have 4. You have somebody at the table in case somebody goes down. Yeah.
Okay. And so where should they be, where are the refs positioned?
So
that's a very broad question, but
you have a lead official,
This would be in like the half court setting.
Yes, half court setting. This is 3-person. You have the trail, and then over here, you have the C or the center official, which would be set up right about here.
So it's a bit of like a triangle.
It is a triangle.
Okay. Are there any blind spots that none of the refs are able to see?
There are blind spots with everything. We again, the human element, we're not going to see every single thing. Sometimes the speed of the game, sometimes the way the offenses run. We do miss things. We will miss things. It is a part of it. Just like you miss shots, just like you miss free throws. It's a part of it.
Okay. All right, bet. So now let's talk about the off arm swiping. So there's lots of different ways to do it. This is where I'd imagine we'd circle back to is the advantage created or not. So when I'm training my guys, I tell them, so like if you're a defense here, I tell my guys if they're gonna swipe to get closer to your body, because like if you try to reach and then if there's like this distance and then I go here, they're probably gonna call that an offensive foul.
Okay.
Right? Just because it's like very visible that he's kind of pushing through.
To answer that honestly,
that's what we're here for, baby.
By rule, did he or she gain an advantage, or did they just swim move you? Because I deem that as just a swim. That is not an illegal contact by the offensive player in order to gain an advantage.
Okay, so even if I get what you're saying on that swim. If you have your hand out and like I'm just here,
yes,
that's cool. What if I like make more contact with your hand and kind of push myself through?
I deem it right now as no advantage.
What if I grab your hand and then?
There you go. Now that right there will be illegal contact. It has to be illegal contact. That has to be illegal contact.
Okay.
Okay. There's a fine line between legal and illegal contact, advantage and disadvantage. The third attempt where you physically grab my arm, pull me through, that would be deemed illegal contact, and that would be going the other way with the offensive foul.
So then there'd probably be some gray area within that, depending on who the ref is.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Yes. And the type of game, and the players that are guarding one another.
Okay. And then I would imagine. So then back to my earlier point, going into this, I thought that was just an obvious offensive foul because it's very visible.
No.
So then I told my guys that it's a lot harder to see what's going on when you're a little bit closer. If we're driving to the hoop and we're kind of hip to hip, and then I'm kind of swimming and then you're kind of also trying to get over the top and we're kind of fighting. Yeah. Like that's a lot harder to call, I'd imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
So from an official's perspective, a good official is taught to close down. So as you're driving, I want to not close all the way down. So I have my area and then I'll pass it off to my partner. Okay. So, but I still want to be able to see through. As you're driving, I'm sliding down, sliding down, and sliding down. So with that situation that just happened, I still have to determine whether I'm going to release you. Once I release you to my partner, I have to pick on my next primary matchup, okay? But still, the chicken fighting or just the incidental contact there is nothing. Now, if he reroutes you and bumps you off your path to the basket, or you elbow him with the inside arm to displace him, then we might have a whistle. But that was nothing. You were still on your route, he was still able to defend. You were still on your route, you were still able to defend. You still had your freedom of movement, he still allows your freedom of movement.
So that's interesting that there's, to use the term gray area again, there's this like point where you pass me off to the other guy.
Yes.
And so that would be definitely like a judgment call between you guys.
Everything's pretty much a judgment call. They judge based upon advantage, disadvantage. We have our primary areas. You want to stay your primary. You have primary, secondary. Now, if my partner didn't see you elbow with your right elbow, Then I come in and blow secondary, come in and blow, give it 2 tweets and a whistle, boop, boop. Hey, he elbowed him. I'm gonna go the other way. And I'm gonna verbalize it so everybody knows. In the coaching chart, elbow at 8 minutes. Jerron called it opposite side. And that's the kind of stuff that you look at the film. How obvious was it to see it? Was it a real disadvantage? Now, if you guys are staying close to each other and there's no disadvantage, no advantage gain, we're gonna roll.
Okay, so now what if, so you're on my hip again, and then we're kind of fighting or whatever, and then your arm's kind of in my space. Let's say your right hand.
Okay.
Probably not a foul right here, but then what if, like they do this in the NBA a lot, where they'll kind of come up.
Uh-huh.
Is that a foul on you?
That's a foul. It's a foul on the defender.
But did I not initiate the contact?
You initiate the contact, but my hand, once you start your upward shooting motion, my hand is not allowed to be placed on you. It's kind of like post. I can be here, and then once it enters, I got to give you your freedom of movement. Again, if I'm going to keep this arm here, this opposite arm here, that can prohibit you from your upward shooting motion or your upward motion toward the basket.
Okay.
That is not legal.
What if I don't get into my upward motion and it's like what if it's obvious that I'm trying to foul bait? Like what if I'm obviously not going to shoot, but then like I kind of like seek your arm out and like go out of my way. It's not a natural shooting motion.
If you seek my arm out and I have not contacted you illegally, because we also have illegal use of hands.
On offense.
On me, on the defender. If my hand is here, that's it, and I continue to ride you this way, all the way to the basket, even though if you're not trying to shoot, that can be illegal use of hands. I illegally have my hands on you. I can go 1,000, 2, 1,000, and I need to get off you in order for you to continue to be an offensive player. Okay, but if you seek me out, we're gonna flop them.
Okay.
But so you have to you have to make those decisions.
Like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
At a moment's notice.
And so what you were just saying, that like 2 seconds and then have to let me be a shooter, does that apply basically the hand checking stuff on defense? Am I allowed to do this on defense if you have the ball?
Am I allowed to do that on defense? I can go 1,000, 2, 1,000. Yes, but there's not supposed to be any illegal use because again, I'm not allowed to ride you left or right. North and south, you got to be able to go north and south because you want that freedom of movement. If I control you here, as you know, your hips are everything. East and west, again, I cannot prohibit you from moving east and west or north and south. Again, you got to come off. You will have to come off. If the women's game if you ever watch the women's game, you're not allowed to even touch them. If you touch them, it's automatic.
Okay, so that's a good segue to the last one I have on my list is the up and under. Shout out to Brady Buckets. So like you have your pivot foot, and then however you find yourself in this situation, you got your pivot, whatever it is, shot fake, and then this one. So I've seen that like college guys, it's legal. Women across the board, it's legal. I feel like high school guys, you're not allowed to do that. You have to go off of 2 feet.
No, it's legal.
It's legal? So I can take that extra step.
It's not an extra step. You took 2 steps, right?
I have my pivot foot here, and then
1, 2. You shot.
This is 1. So I'm here. Bang.
1.
That's 1?
Yeah.
So I can take 2?
2? Yes.
He gets so pissed at this dude named Brady I work out. That's crazy. So I can bang here, shot fake, 1, 2. Really?
2 steps.
High school boys, college boys, girls. period.
2 steps.
I feel like that's been called a travel. I feel like if I were to hop in a game right now, I'd get called for a travel.
It all depends on the training that you received and in the plays that you've seen. What was the difference between that move and the move that you just did earlier when we first started the video? When we started the video, yeah,
This stuff?
1, 2.
It's just 2 steps.
1, 2.
Damn, okay. So man, that's wild. So I can,
What's the difference? Euro. It's the Euro side to side, 1, 2. I mean, what's the difference?
so I can go 1, 2, and then this foot is my pivot
Yes.
foot. And then I can shot fake and then
Nope.
1, 2.
Because you already took your 2. You took your 2, established your pivot foot. You stop, establish your pivot foot, you can't go anywhere after that.
Okay, so this is good. So I'm driving, I'm going left, right. Left foot is my pivot foot. I can go wherever I want to.
Yep.
But now if I wanted to shot fake, it'd have to be off 2.
It has to be because you establish the pivot foot as your dominant foot. Once you establish the pivot foot, the only way you can go, you can pass it or you can make it shooting motion toward the basket.
And in order to pass or shoot off of this one, it would have to be off of 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Unless, again, not necessarily off 2, but if you're gonna come off the pivot foot, which was your left, go straight at the basket. 1. Going straight there. 1. Or just 1.
So I can go bang, bang.
Which is your left, yes. You're going
and
straight at the
then here.
to the basket.
Okay, so I can still go off 1
Yes.
to finish. So I can, okay, perfect. So I'm going here, bang, bang, left foot's the pivot foot. I can still go here.
Yes.
I just cannot go here, here.
Nope.
1, 2.
Nope. Because you've already established it as that dominant. You establish the pivot foot, which is the left. Once you pick that pivot foot up, you gotta go. You gotta go here or here.
So then the key is establishing the pivot foot.
The key is establishing it, but as an official, the official has to pick up the pivot foot.
So then, okay, so what is a scenario where shot fake 1, 2? What's
Where
a scenario?
you catch the ball right here, you catch the ball right here in the paint, and you just go. Like you say, you catch it here, boom, 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 you make your move, and then you go. First of all, the other move is a different move, because you dribble, stop, establish, then you want to go. Here, you just caught. You're a post player that just caught and had room to work without the dribble. It's kind of like the triple threat with the other moves. But again, you didn't. You just, the pivot. You established your pivot, but you didn't take it. You established the pivot, but you didn't take any dribbles. So you still had your dribble, which is legal, and it can be live. The other ones, you took your dribble, established your pivot foot, and then you only had 2 choices, pass or shoot.
So if I establish my pivot foot, but I do not dribble,
Yeah.
I can 1, 2.
Yeah.
So the key is establishing the dribble.
You gotta know it's established. You can't have the whole bag. So again, just like you said, you can't come in, drive, stop, establish, then go.
I cannot.
You cannot.
I cannot drive,
Establish,
establish,
then go 1, 2.
then
Yep.
go. If I drive, establish, it has to be here.
Yes.
I just smoked it, but okay. So the key is establishing the dribble.
You got to pick up the pivot foot. Establish dribble, non-established dribble, picking up the pivot foot.
That's fire.
Yeah.
All right, bet. So last thing we'll do, just give me, no, okay. So last thing we'll do, give us like, from a referee's perspective, advice, tips, anything you would give, let's go players, so that they can have a better experience. We already kind of talked about like talking to them before the game. So if there's anything that you want to emphasize for players in terms of like how they interact with referees or something in that area, what would your advice be?
From a referee and a former player's perspective, the most important thing I can say from a coach to a player to a referee, make sure your kids are as fundamentally sound as possible. It makes everything easier with the athleticism that the kids have today. Second of all, be respectful and know how to communicate respectfully. Don't swear at the ref. Don't yell at us in a demeaning tone or manner. Approach us like human beings. If you want respect, give respect. And you'll get it from us. You'll get it from me. If you want grace, give grace. Because you'll get it from me and a lot of my other colleagues. But if you don't know how to communicate respectfully, we're going to take care of that. Okay? We might have a talk with you and give you a warning. We have the issue, we can warn you. Hey, number 13, you're done. Please, coach, I've talked to him, put that in the book. 13 has been warned. We don't want to go there. Make sure they're fundamentally sound. I cannot stress it enough. So many of our kids lack the fundamentals, which makes it very hard for them to referee, because a lot of times they go faster than what they're capable of. Their mind is there, but then the mind and body don't sync, and they're out of control. And we know all about that. They don't know the game. Communicate and be respectful.
And so my next question was going to be, what about to coaches and parents? I would imagine it's pretty similar, respect when they're talking to you.
I would say, and we can talk off camera about this too. I would love to talk to you off camera about this. But in a politically correct way of saying things, as coach, just talk to us without screaming, yelling, and demeaning us. A lot of people can't take that. A lot of people don't have as thick of skin, and we need officials. We need good officials to ref the games and be on the court, because the coaches always focus on officials rather than focus on the team aspect and the coaching aspect to make the adjustments. So just address us like we're human beings and don't be derogatory, mean, nasty, negative, and demeaning. Parents, same thing. Parents are absolutely belligerent at times and absolutely out of control. It's a lot we can do, it's a lot we can't do, but we have the elastic power to throw everybody out the gym and continue that with the basketball game. Just remember, you can have the hoops, the gym, the coaches, the players, but if the two of us or the three of us don't take the court, you can't have a game. So understand that.
Yeah.
Understand that.
Fire. Well, that's all I had, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I appreciate you taking the time, for real. That's awesome. This is going to be a good thing for, like I said, players, coaches, parents to use, benefit from. So I appreciate you, man.
No problem, bro. Pleasure, man.
My guy.
Pleasure.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sean Shawdett.